Information Station, WTIM.
Welcome in to the WTIM, your information station. My name is Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Let's thank our sponsors before we move with this interview. People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better at Landmark. In my studio right now is Jim Baker, the Chief Deputy of the Christian County Sheriff's Department. How are you today, Jim Baker?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's a busy season out there on the road right now. We've been talking all about it. And let's just get right into it. It's deer season. It's deer hunting season. It's driving around and seeing deer season. What do we need to know if I'm in the with
Sure. So November, most of the public think of pumpkin pie and turkey, but for us, it's deer, and more deer. With the current season of the deer in their breeding time frame, you'll have a lot more deer near the roadways and just not paying attention to cars. And it's really important that the motorists pay attention when they're near a wooded area, things of that nature. We've got a lot of deer crashes in the last 45 days. We've had almost 20 or a total of 25 crashes involving a deer. And with those, the month of November itself, we're averaging one a day, if not more. I look for that number to triple by the end of November if I look at last year's statistics. So yeah, it's really important, like I said, to be really cautious driving on the roadway. And I'd like to remind everybody, you don't want to take an evasive action to avoid the deer that strikes another motor vehicle or, rolls a vehicle over or something like that. Unfortunately, it does not go against your insurance, for a comprehensive claim. So, the best practice is just slow down, be really cautious in those areas. With that, if a motorist does strike a deer in the roadway, they are required, if there's over $1,500 damage, to report that deer crash. If it's on a state highway, they can do it through the Illinois State Police website. Or for us, even if you're waiting for a tow, we'll make those arrangements with you, stand by for your safety. And of course, then we get asked all the time, can I keep the deer? There's some people that really, it's an unfortunate incident that happens, but then, they do want to take the deer and have it processed. So with that, they are required to report that. We work in conjunction with DNR. I'm on the phone quite a bit with the local CPO or conservation police officer. And with that, they can report the claim of deer through IDNR's website, or they can call the number that's 217-782-6431. And that's on their website as well for them to claim it. Or if the motorist doesn't want to claim it, but they have a friend or relative that wants it, they can claim that as well.
Okay.
So keep in mind, if the deer is injured, local law enforcement is the only one that can dispatch that animal.
Okay.
So
these are all very important things to know right now. I'd like to revisit a couple of them. The first one, a very interesting and important fact right here. And I remember my dad telling me this when I was first learning how to drive. Doesn't matter if it's a squirrel or a rabbit, if it runs in the road, you try to slow down, but do not turn your wheel. It's going to cause more problems, probably.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you want to do what you can, slow down, brake hard to avoid it, but any evasive action to avoid it, if you strike a vehicle or, hit somebody's mailbox, you're responsible for that as well, so you just want to do the best. And a lot of times, striking a deer, you're going to get some front end damage to your vehicle. But if you take an evasive action and, lose control of your vehicle off in the loose gravel or something and roll over, you're more likely to definitely be injured that way. So
who's to say what would happen if you wouldn't just continue straight, and you never know what's coming in on oncoming traffic. So it goes against all your instincts as a human, but and especially a deer, it's a bigger animal. You don't want that thing flying through the windshield, but just some front end damage would be a lot better than rolling your car over in gravel. And you mentioned keeping the deer. This is, you said it's a common thing around here. This is not commonly something I've heard, but there's a whole process to this. You can't just hit a deer, kill it, put it in the pickup truck. There's a process to that.
Yeah, you've hit the deer, or we actually have people that if they're in need, they can call the sheriff's office and we can make arrangements for them to meet on site to get that deer, because it's better obviously to have that go to somebody in need, or they process it into salamis and different things like that, or it's just like beef or any other animal, they'll cook it up and eat it. So it's good to see it go that way versus just sitting going to waste. But like I said, there is a process. You have to report claim the deer on the website, and it's a simple process, just saying how you acquired it and making that a legal possession.
Okay.
So
makes a lot of sense there, and keep people out of unnecessary legal trouble after hitting a deer or something like that.
Sure.
That's really, really great things to know. Now we're speaking on deer. Deer hunting season is upon us, and firearm deer hunting season is right around the corner here. What do we need to know? Yeah,
so basically deer season comes in. It's been archery season since October 1st, but you're going to see a lot more activity, especially this weekend. I have been on the phone with the local game warden, Bryant Wright, that he works our area for conservation issues. But in conjunction with him, local sheriff's department can also enforce, game laws. That's not our main focus, but when we inquire or we're asked to respond, we're willing to do that. So November 17th through the 19th is the first shotgun season for deer season. And then the weekend post Thanksgiving, it comes around. I believe that's going to be November 30th to December 3rd would be the second part of that. Now, with that being said, you're going to see a lot more activity. It naturally brings in calls for trespass complaints. Best suggestion is don't approach those individuals. If you can drive by a field entrance or somebody's on your property, write down the license plate, call the local sheriff's office. I've also got the game warden's phone number that I've talked to him. He would be willing to put. It's out there on the DNR website. His name's Bryant Wright, and his phone number is 217-670-9454. And with that, in his absence, he's covering the whole 2 counties at this busy time of year. So we'll step in and assist him handle trespass complaints, or if there's a poaching issue, things like that. We may take the initial report and then pass that on to him. But there again, it's just really important. You don't want to get in a confrontation if somebody's on your property and they don't have permission. Keep in mind, you go down there and get in a confrontation, it might be something where another family member gave permission. So let the local law enforcement weed through that and figure it out. It's going to be a busy weekend for sure. There's a lot of people out there hunting. With that, I would like to add that, hunter safety is a huge issue, and a couple small things that we often overlook. We want everybody out there enjoying the outdoors, having a good time. But in the absence of conservation police, it falls on the sheriff's office. We've been involved in, fatalities. We've been involved at major injuries, and a lot of it could have been avoided a lot of times with safety harnesses and the equipment that's out there today. And if you're using that, you want to, give a good educational for the youth that you're hunting with to set precedents. They're going to mock what you do. So if you're using a safety system, they're going to learn from the very beginning, just like kids nowadays putting on the seatbelt. With that, it's really important that somebody may overlook the fact that you want to have that location turned on your phone. Makes it a lot easier if you happen to be involved in an accident with your location device turned on. You may be somewhere out in the timber. We can locate that a lot easier if you're calling 911, or if you haven't returned home because you've fell and you're injured. You want to have that location device turned on your cell phone if you've got that with you.
Yeah, you mentioned that before we came on, and that's something I never thought of. While out hunting, it's good to have that location on. But it's probably also good to have it shared with a family member. That's a pretty normal thing people do now. With my phone, I got my shared with my mom and dad, just in case, right? Because you're out in the forest, and that pin, it's out. It'll be out there in the green, but at least it's narrowing down your options.
Absolutely. On top of that, it's always good to tell your loved ones where you're going to be. I mean, I myself do some archery hunting, and every time before I go out, I shoot a text to my wife. She may not know exactly where to walk to me, but she knows where my truck's going to be parked and, the general location of where I'm at. So that way, if something happens and I'm not home at the expected time, she knows where to send people to look, to get you help.
It could be a situation where a hunter is down on the ground, unable to move, and maybe all you can hear is a voice. At that point, just getting in the vicinity would make the biggest difference there. This is really important information to know, and it's really good to know that the Christian County Sheriff's Department will be working in conjunction with the IDNR this year. Do you get a lot of call complaints every year about trespassing issues and people not knowing where to hunt?
Yeah, it's pretty common to get one or two. A lot of it sometimes is miscommunication. But we do have that random where people, you think about a piece of property that that, subject A owned last year. They sold it. Now subject B's got it. And the guy, shows up, hey, 2 years ago, I used to hunt this property. A lot of it can be sorted out, and we find a mutual agreement. And even if that's, hey, you need to pack your stuff up and move on, but like I said, it's a lot easier to let us referee or intervene on that situation versus, getting in a confrontational situation that maybe the other person is completely oblivious to the fact that you have a new owner, or, hey, my grandfather told me I could hunt this. Maybe that grandfather had permission. So it is something that we deal with randomly at least once or twice over this firearm season.
And these are arguments that involve property and firearms, so things can go wrong there, right there. So
absolutely.
Main message here: call the sheriff's department or call that conservation police officer. Want to read off that number one more time?
Sure. So his number is 217-670-9454, and that's your local CPO in Christian County would be Bryant Wright.
Beautiful. Chief Deputy, we're going to take our short little break right now, but it was a great first half right there, talking all about the deer season here in Illinois, what you need to know, and all the people to call. This is Jim Baker, Chief Deputy of the Christian County Sheriff's Department. My name's Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
Your information station, WTIM.
This Miller Media Group radio station and our online daily newspaper, TaylorvilleDailyNews.com, have got winter weather covered. With our exclusive event delay software, closings and cancellations are posted instantly when received, 24/7, and also air every 10 minutes during applicable times. And find out the latest road conditions at the road conditions icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Whether online or on air, we've got you covered.
Support the Lincoln Land Community College Foundation, and you help student Brianne Durnovich give a lifetime of beauty to others.
Working full-time for a wonderful couple in Taylorville while a full-time student has been tough, but generous donors to the foundation made a scholarship possible that lifted the financial burden, inspiring me to pursue a business degree and chase my dream of being a professional florist. Thank you for letting me blossom.
Give a lifetime by supporting the Lincoln Land Community College Foundation. Donate at llccfoundation.org.
I'm Jeff Grimmett, Assistant Vice President at People's Bank and Trust in Taylorville. People's Bank and Trust is proud to sponsor Taylorville Junior High School Students of the Month on all of the WTIM platforms.
I'm Dan Muncie, the 6th grade student of the month. My parents are Sarah Hawkins and Zachary Muncie. School subjects I enjoy include science, PE, and English language arts. After high school, I'm considering engineering as a career.
Congratulations to these students on this honor from People's Bank and Trust. We put people first every day at People's Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Your Christian County Health Department has both COVID and flu vaccines available, and both high-dose and regular dose flu vaccines are in stock. You can get both the COVID and flu vaccine shots at the same time, and there are a handful of egg-free flu vaccines available. Call the Christian County Health Department now for your appointment at 217-824-4113. That's 824-4113. Your Christian County Health Department is always working for a healthier future.
It's time for the 2023 Shelbyville Festival of Lights. Over 500 displays with bright lights and vivid colors that can't be beat. Bring your family starting at 5, November 17th through January 1st. Click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Over 50 years and 3 generations of legacy serve you at Dale Williams Trucking in Fillmore. From agriculture to road construction hauling, they do it all. Find out how they can help you. Click their icon above the weather on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM, your information station. This is the WTIM Morning Show. I'm your host, Tim Zalabak. Sitting down with me today is the Chief Deputy of the Christian County Sheriff's Department, Jim Baker. once again, thank you so much for being here with us, Chief Deputy.
Yep, excited about it. Thank you.
This is awesome. It's always good to have you. And we talked all about what to know about deer season coming up, safety on roadways and safety for hunters. Always use safety precautions and safety belts and such. And on the road, keep driving forward. Do not take any crazy movements to avoid that deer. It can always cause maybe more problems than not. So we're going to move on from the deer conversation here, because there's some information about holiday season, getting your presents online now. It's a big way to do that, but you got to protect your packages out on the front porch. Tell me about this.
Yeah. So recently we have had some complaints of people, tracking down their packages, not knowing whether or not it's been delivered. You've got people, especially in town, you drive by, or a rural area, you drive by and look, we can all tell from the road that that's a package sitting there. And I've said before, November, you can, translate that to, Thanksgiving, deer season. It's also Black Friday. It's people are going to be ordering holiday gifts, things of that nature all the time. So some suggestions that we would have is basically, if you know that you've got a package coming, there's a couple things that you can do to basically protect that investment. And it's something as simple as putting a tote, and I've used in the past a plastic trash can, a clean new trash can. You put that out on the front porch or your garage area, and on the top of it, you put a note, please deposit, you can address it, FedEx, UPS, please deposit delivery here. That allows them to put that package inside of a tote on your front porch. It's out of view of the public's eye. And there again, your package, it's coming, you can take that tote in and out. But once you get that pattern, established with your delivery guy, there are more impressive, expensive things that's got a keypad, like you'd mentioned, for you and the delivery person. But the simple thing is a tote. It's out of the public's eye. Even, you do go down Franklin Street, you look over, you see, we all know what an Amazon box looks like, or a FedEx. But if they was to put it in a tote, and you get that delivery person accustomed to putting it in there, now it's out of the public's eye, and somebody's less likely to walk by, grab it, and take it on the run. With that being said, I myself even just went through, a lot of times it's a package that they're going to need a signature for. A good alternative to that is check with, here locally, we have a couple places in Taylorville that do, deliveries through UPS and FedEx. Just last night, I picked a package up that required a signature that was delivered to my residence. I wasn't home, missed it. Basically, I got online, filled out the information. It was then delivered to FedEx and Walgreens. Simple, secure. I was able to pick it up there, and no extra additional cost. And it was, securely delivered and took care of the signature issue.
That's even a safer option right there. Just the small action of putting out, like you said, a waste paper basket or some sort of tote bag. That'll probably increase your chances of being there, the package being there when you show up. It'll probably increase them quite greatly. And that's great advice right there, especially now. Everyone's going to be ordering packages, and keep them safe. You don't want to have to be ordering that twice. And there's also a lot of services that you can type in description, place in box, and the Amazon driver will get that message. They're really good. These delivery guy drivers, they know their stuff, and they see that open box. So that's great.
Well, and it's always helpful too. We count on the public a lot.
Yeah.
You take your subdivision, stuff like that. If you see something that's out of line, we just recently dealt with scams over solar cells. You get somebody knocking on the door wanting to sell you solar panels, but everything just doesn't add up. And the next thing you know, we're tracking somebody down, and we rely on that public's information. Hey, report it. If it doesn't seem legit, maybe it is. Maybe we show up and say, hey, yeah, this guy's got a business card. We've checked into their company. But it could be something simple. If I knock on the door trying to sell you a solar panel and leave you a bogus card, I may be scouring the neighborhood to where I can break in, who's not home during the day. And you see a vehicle, it's like, there's a package there. I just saw a guy walk up. Maybe by the time you think, oh, well, he took that package off the front porch, maybe if you was to report the description of the vehicle or what you've seen, most of us are going to look. We know what the delivery looks like. Somebody approaches a residence, but it's uncommon for somebody to walk up and remove a package. Maybe they're doing that through the whole neighborhood, and we just need to know, hey, it's a black SUV, and then we can start scouring the neighborhood and hopefully put a stop to it.
Sure.
So, but yeah, simple things. If it's out of sight, it's usually out of mind.
Right.
That's a good way to think about that. So
there are some people acting a bit maliciously in the solar, and you mentioned it a little bit right there. Unfortunately, we are out of time. These conversations fly by, but always be on the lookout for that, and try to sense it out, and always call the Christian County Sheriff's Department if you got something that might be a little bit fraudulent. Chief Deputy Jim Baker, we really appreciate you being here with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's Chief Deputy Jim Baker of the Christian County Sheriff's Department. I'm Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Thank you all for tuning in.
Your information station, WTIM.
In Washington. 2.5 weeks after sending tanks and ground troops into northern Gaza, Israeli forces entered a hospital today that they claim is used by Hamas. After 6 consecutive months of gains, retail